What if I told you that the next major global power shift isn't happening in Washington, isn't happening in Beijing, but on tiny islands you've barely even heard of? For decades, the Pacific Island nations were overlooked, dismissed as remote outposts scattered across a vast ocean, far from the so-called real centers of global power. But that is all changing, because right now, these islands are stepping into the spotlight, and the implications for global stability are monumental. Get ready to understand why these seemingly small players are now sitting at the very epicenter of a geopolitical earthquake. Forget everything you thought you knew about international relations. The real battle for 21st century influence is unfolding right now. Not only in Europe, not only in the Middle East, but across the Pacific. From crucial shipping lanes that keep the global economy alive, to undersea cables carrying the world's internet, to rare resources hidden beneath the ocean floor. These island nations are no longer just postcard-perfect tourist destinations. They are strategic hotspots, and the competition for influence over them could determine the balance of power for decades to come. Now, if you've been feeling like today's world order is becoming more confusing than ever, you're not alone. While headlines focus on the traditional rivalries between superpowers, a silent but seismic shift is happening in an unexpected corner of the globe. The rising strategic importance of Pacific Island nations is not just a niche topic for policy experts. It directly impacts global trade, international security, climate politics, and even your future. Because these islands may be small in size, but in today's geopolitical landscape, they are some of the most coveted real estate on Earth. So the question is no longer, why should we care about Pacific Island nations? The real question is, how did these islands become the next great battleground for global influence? And what happens if this geopolitical earthquake turns into something much bigger? Let's begin. To understand why the Pacific Islands matter so much today, we first need to understand what the Pacific actually represents. The Pacific Ocean is not just water. It is the largest strategic space on Earth. Covering nearly 1/3 of the planet, the Pacific connects Asia, the Americas, and Oceania. It is home to some of the most important trade routes in the global economy. Every day, trillions of dollars in goods, oil, electronics, food, raw materials, move across Pacific shipping lanes. So whoever holds influence in this region holds influence over global trade itself. And that is where the island nations come in. Scattered across this ocean are countries like the Solomon Islands, Fiji, Vanuatu, Samoa, Tonga, Kiribati, the Marshall Islands, Papua New Guinea, and many others. Some have populations smaller than a medium-sized city, but their location gives them outsized geopolitical value. In global politics, geography is power, and these islands sit in some of the most strategically important positions on Earth. Now, this is not the first time the Pacific has been at the center of global conflict. During World War II, the Pacific Islands became battlegrounds between the United States and Imperial Japan. Islands like Guadalcanal in the Solomon Islands were scenes of brutal fighting. Why? Because whoever controlled those islands could control military movement across the Pacific. History is now repeating itself, but in a different form. Today, the competition is not fought with battleships on beaches, but with diplomacy, military agreements, infrastructure investments, and strategic alliances. And at the heart of this new rivalry are two powers, the United States and China. China's rise as a global superpower has completely reshaped international relations. Beijing's ambition is clear: to expand its influence far beyond Asia, and to challenge American dominance in the Pacific. For China, the Pacific Islands are not remote. They are central. Why? Because they offer access. Access to shipping routes. Access to strategic military positioning. Access to natural resources. And perhaps most importantly, access to political influence in international institutions like the United Nations. Many Pacific Island nations may be small, but each has a vote on the world stage. And those votes matter. So China has been increasing its presence across the Pacific through loans, aid, development projects, and security deals. One of the most dramatic examples came in 2022, when China signed a security agreement with the Solomon Islands. This shocked Australia, New Zealand, and the United States. Why? Because it raised the possibility of China gaining a military foothold in a region long considered part of the Western sphere of influence. Suddenly, the Solomon Islands were no longer just islands. They became a flashpoint, a symbol of a shifting balance of power. And the West responded quickly. The United States reopened its embassy in Honiara. Australia increased aid and engagement. Diplomacy intensified. Because everyone understood what was happening. The Pacific was becoming contested territory. But this rivalry is about far more than military strategy. It is also about infrastructure. China's Belt and Road Initiative has reached into the Pacific, funding ports, roads, government buildings, and telecommunications projects. These investments are attractive to island nations that desperately need development support. But they also raise concerns about dependency. Critics warn of debt diplomacy, where nations become financially tied to Beijing. Supporters argue that China is simply filling a gap left by Western neglect. And that leads us to an uncomfortable truth. For decades, many Pacific Island nations felt ignored by traditional powers. Australia and the United States often treated the region as strategically important, but not always as equal partners. China, meanwhile, arrived offering attention, investment, and alternatives. So from the perspective of island leaders, this is not simply a superpower rivalry. It is an opportunity. A chance to leverage competition for national benefit. And this is why Pacific Island nations are not passive pawns. They are active players. They negotiate. They demand. They shape outcomes. Another reason the Pacific has become so critical lies beneath the ocean itself. Undersea cables. Most of the world's internet traffic travels through cables laid across the seabed. The Pacific hosts some of the most important digital arteries on Earth. Whoever controls or monitors these cables can gain enormous intelligence and economic advantage. This adds another layer of strategic competition. It is not just about land. It is about data, communication, cybersecurity, and the future of global connectivity. Then there are resources. The Pacific Ocean contains vast fisheries that feed millions of people. It also holds potential deep-sea minerals, cobalt, nickel, manganese, crucial for modern technologies like electric vehicles and renewable energy systems. As the world transitions into a green economy, demand for these minerals is soaring, and the Pacific could become a resource frontier. But this raises serious ethical and environmental questions. Deep-sea mining could devastate fragile ecosystems. Pacific Islanders, already facing climate threats, may be forced into impossible choices between development and survival. Which brings us to perhaps the most urgent issue of all: climate change. Pacific Island nations are on the front lines of the climate crisis. Rising sea levels threaten entire countries like Tuvalu and Kiribati. Some islands may become uninhabitable within decades. So for Pacific leaders, geopolitics is not an abstract power game. It is deeply personal. It is existential. They are demanding action from the world's biggest polluters. And they are using their strategic importance to amplify their voices. In many ways, climate change has become part of the geopolitical earthquake. Because the Pacific Islands are not only battlegrounds for power, they are moral centers of the global climate debate. Now, where does all of this lead? The Pacific is becoming the stage for the defining rivalry of our time. The United States wants to maintain its influence. China wants to expand its reach. Australia and New Zealand see the region as vital to their security. And the island nations themselves want development, sovereignty, and survival. The danger is that increased militarization or miscalculation could destabilize the region. The opportunity is that Pacific nations could shape a new model of diplomacy, one where small states wield enormous influence. So the geopolitical earthquake in the Pacific is not just about islands. It is about the future world order. It is about trade, security, climate, technology, and the balance of power in the 21st century. These islands may be small on the map, but they are giants in global strategy. And what happens in the Pacific will not stay in the Pacific. The next time you hear about Fiji, the Solomon Islands, or Kiribati in the news, remember, you are not just hearing about distant islands. You are witnessing the front lines of a shifting global power struggle, a geopolitical earthquake that may shape the future of the world. So let me ask you, do you think Pacific Island nations will benefit from this new attention? Or will they become trapped in a dangerous superpower rivalry? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you found this video valuable, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Until next time.